Hey y'all. So, this video is a little different. Um, Usually I'm doing my Bible studies, um, and I just came from church. Well, I work at the church. I do security at the church, Macedonia. And the last 24 hours have just been extremely weird. And I just feel like, especially after God speaking to me through the word today, I just, I have to say what I need to say and just kind of have a moment of vulnerability, which is something that I do not like to do. Um, and it's so crazy. So, all right, let me back up. So, I did a Bible study a few days ago. And I'll be dropping that video soon. Um, but I've just been going through something really weird, like recently. And I've just been in like a really bad funk where everything annoys me, everybody annoys me, except for my niece and my nephew. Everybody's just annoying without even doing anything wrong. Um, so yesterday, a very close friend of mine, um, we were having a conversation, and the conversation got heated. Um, I'm responsible for that because, again, I'm just in this funk. Like, I'm just irritated. So I began to be, I guess we're going to call it like it is, disrespectful. And I was just like so irritated. I was just saying things like you're so annoying and like just irritated and agitated. I don't think I said you're so annoying, but I think I said this is annoying. The conversation that we were having was annoying to me. And I remember him saying something along the lines of, because he was just basically, and he was extremely respectful. He was extremely just, what I'm saying? Like just having a conversation with me. And, he is expecting a certain level of respect because of who he is to me. He's a good person. He's a good friend to me. He's always there for me when I need him. And I'll get into the meat and potatoes in a minute, but this is just kind of like a leading up to, what I got to say. Or leading up to, just what transpired today during service. So anyway, so he said something to me like, I'm always there for you whenever you need me. He's like, you don't call your father when you need him. I mean, when you need somebody, you don't call your father or anybody else, you call me. And I said, F my father. And I said it again. I said, F him. Talking about my father. F him. And I realized when I said that, I meant it. I really meant it. I didn't want to say it because I know, God wants us to honor our mother and our fathers. But when I tell you I meant that in my spirit and in my heart, I'm like, F him. And then after our phone conversation ended, I began to talk to God and I'm telling God, like, God, I'm so angry. Like, I'm angry and I'm irritated and I'm just over everything. And, it was a very weak moment that I had or whatever with God. So, and all this week I've been just like procrastinating about posting this Bible study. I was even like going back and forth, like I'm just not even gonna post it. I'm not in the mood. I don't feel like speaking to somebody else. I need to be speaking to myself. Just in a real funky mood. Like so today during service, Pastor Dion preached today, and I don't know, this is not the first time that Pastor Dion has preached. I think everybody who's preached at Macedonia has had a word for me specifically. But today was just something different. It was just literally like, when I tell y'all I was, and now mind you, I'm working, I'm doing security. So I'm posted up at my post and I'm in the front in the sanctuary. So everyone can see me. I'm very visible to everyone. I'm sitting there at my post, and as she is preaching, the things that she's saying, I'm just like, I am fighting back tears. Well, fast forward. No, rewind. I'm gonna have to edit that out. But rewind. Um, so during service today, I'm at work. I'm in a funk, mind you. I'm still in a funk. No, let me go back. So I was talking to God, and I'm telling him like I'm angry, and I'm just like, I really am angry with my father. Like, I am so angry with my father, and he doesn't even really understand or know how I really feel. I'm just not understanding how I feel towards him. And I'm sure this is going to stir up something, but I'm doing what the Lord called me to do. I'm doing the Lord's work. So we're just going to keep it at that. So anyway, I'm just thinking to myself, like, this man ain't never really been my father. And I'm just like, just realizing how angry I am. Like, this man really, like, and it's almost like a rejection. Like, I'm like, this man don't care about me. Like, I've been your daughter for 30 something years. And what have you done for me? What did you teach me? Like, who have you been to me? Like, you wasn't at my prom. You wasn't at my graduation. I don't remember you being anywhere at any huge event of mine's, just there for support and love. I'm like, this nigga don't care about me. So I'm just like, and I'm like realizing like you're angry about that. Like, and that explains your relationships with men, and why once things appear a certain way, you just snap out, you flip out, and you just become very emotional and disrespectful because you had this anger towards your father for not really being there, and it's a rejection. Like, I'm your daughter, why? And I know my daddy, like, we talk every now and then. He gives me birthday cards on my birthday, Christmas cards with money in it, but that's it. Like, that's it. One thing I could count on every year is a birthday card with some money, and Christmas I can I can count on an envelope with some money. But anything else is just like, where have you been? Like, you don't even know me for real, for real. Like, you don't call me, you don't check on me, you don't even know how your daughter is doing. And I'm not the only child. I'm actually the oldest out of my father's kids. And I'm just like, you don't call me, you don't check on me. And let me just say something. I don't care how old a person is. You can be 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, 60, and you still can be affected by the lack of relationship or the void from your father, aka daddy issues. Because people seem to think like you when you get a certain age, like, okay, well, that's dead, like that go. No, your parents have a huge play a huge role in the adult that you are going to become. They play a huge role in the mistakes that you are going to make, or the mistakes that you're going to not make. So I don't care that I'm 30 something years old. I'm still angry. I'm still angry. I am. So I realized that, like, okay, this is where this anger is coming from. It's not the person that I was talking to on the phone. It's not, even like exes and stuff like that. No, this starts from my daddy. My daddy. So that was, um what am I trying to say? What's the word I'm trying to use? So that was something that came out during just me just being vulnerable with God and just telling God like I'm angry, like I don't want to deal with nobody, I'm irritated. And I really got to a point where I'm like, I don't even care if I be on this earth anymore. Like I'm like, I ain't got no kids, I ain't got nobody living, I ain't got nobody to live for, I ain't got nobody to push for, I ain't got nobody motivating me. So I'm like, I mean, when I tell y'all, I just realized how emotionally messed up that I really was. And so that was yesterday. So fast forward to today, I'm in service, I'm at work. Got to get to the bed, got to make money, you know what I'm saying? So I'm at work, showing up, doing what I got to do, working. So one of the ministers at the church, um, everybody, we all speak. It's just a very loving and friendly atmosphere. So one of the ministers at the church, he's like, "Hey sis, how you doing?" But when he said how you doing, cause he was actually in the middle of a conversation and um, he saw me, at my post where I usually am. Everybody usually when they see me, they just like wave or speak or whatever. So he seen me. So he's like, "Hey sis, how you doing?" But then he stopped the conversation that he was having with, this other individual. And he just kind of made this face. And normally, you know how we are. "Hey, I'm good. How are you?" Meanwhile, you're not good. So in this moment, I just felt like he was really asking me, like, "How are you?" And I said, okay. So he comes over to me. He's like, okay. He's like, "Well, if you need prayer, I could pray with you, before service starts." I'm like, you know, prayer is not, that's not a bad idea right now. So he stopped and he began to pray over me. And like, I just start crying. I just start crying. And that's just the beginning of it. So yeah, I'm like, wow, I really needed that. Thank you. So, service is going, and I literally like I had to stop myself from crying. I'm like, get it together. Like you're at work. If you don't suck it up, like you'll deal with this when you get back home. I'm like talking to myself in my head, coaching myself, like, get it together, girl. Like you ain't got time for this. Like, but I'm in the back now because I had to go to the back and grab some tissue because like the tears was just flowing. So I go to the back. I'm getting myself together. Like, girl, get it together. Like, we don't got time for this. Like, you got to go back out there. You got a job to do. So I get myself together finally. And I'm like putting, how I feel on the back end. So, I'm good now. I'm good. So I talked to one of the other friends that I knew at another church that I went to, and I'm talking to her, and I'm telling her a little bit, and I'm not gonna talk about because she said the same thing, like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm like, but I'm not gonna talk about it because I'm gonna start crying because I just start crying when somebody else asks me was I okay. So I'm not doing that. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that here. So, she didn't pressure me or anything like that. She began to share with me her experience about how she was feeling like that like a few weeks ago, whatever. Anyway, fast forward to the word. So Pastor Dion preached today. And first of all, so the scripture that she preached on or touched on today, it wasn't the same scripture that my Bible study is on. However, it was the same, what's the word? Context. That might be the word. That might not be the word. I don't know. But it was like, it was the same topic as the Bible study that I just recorded that I have yet to put out, that I'm going to put out like soon, like with this video. I was still editing it and then I got irritated and I stopped. But anyway, it wasn't the same scripture, but it was the same topic. So a lot of what she was saying, I was speaking in my Bible study, and that's not the first time. I don't even think it's the second time that has happened. So I'm like, God, you really be with me. Like, I'm really, I'm really with you, even though I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm with you, and you with me. So she's, she's preaching or whatever, and one of the things she said was, "I know that you're angry because your father left you 20 something years ago. And when I tell you the tears like was like trying to come out my eye, I'm telling you, I was sitting there because I'm standing there, and my feet are balled up like this because I am fighting so hard to not cry because I'm like, no, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to do this. I am at work. No, you here to protect people. You're not here to be, no, we're not doing that. So this went on for like a couple minutes, and I'm like in my head again, like, you better not cry. You better not. You gotta fight them tears. I'm literally like, I'm even like holding my hands like this to just like fight back my tears. So I held them back a little bit, like how the corner it has to be a little watery. So I got a little, little tears in the corner of my eyes or whatever, but it's nothing that's noticeable. So then she begins to also speak on how, she said something about she talked about grace, and she mentioned something about sometimes it's okay to set boundaries, but you have to know the difference between setting a boundary and having a wall up. And when I tell you, I'm like, that's me for sure. Because when I tell you I have such a wall up, I have realized so much about myself. I've learned so much about myself just today. Like I've learned so much about myself in 24 hours. And I'm like, I have a wall up not just with my father who I have anger towards, but I think I have a wall up with everybody. There's this, I don't even really have no friends. I have people that I'm cool with, but I keep you at arm's length. We not about to get close. I'm good. And that's just from like being hurt and just, what I'm saying, being betrayed by people and, what I'm saying, like having friendships and then turning aside. I had people tell my business that I shared with them because they were mad. We got into an argument and my business is on the streets, stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm like, you hoes are not you hoes. I'm sorry. But I'm like, I'm good off people. Like we could be cool, hee hee ha ha, hey girl, that's it. That's all. I'm not doing none of that. And then when it comes to relationships, I'm like more open to that because I aspire to have a family. I aspire to have children. So, you know what I'm saying? So I was more open to that. And I also think it was also just like filling that void, trying to fill that void that my father left there by just not being present in my life the way that he should have been. So, but even that, like it's not a healthy thing to be open to relationships when you have this feeling towards your father. Like your father is like the first man that you either love or hate. Your father is the first man who, teaches you what a man is and what a man isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like how to have relationships with a man, how to have how to receive love from a man, how to love a man. So when you do not have that, you begin to be lost in your relationships. Hence, what I've experienced and also am experiencing. So it's just a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of us as women are dealing with daddy issues. I think a lot of us have had absent fathers. I think a lot of us have had half ASS fathers. And I just think a lot of men, and don't get me wrong, like, if y'all know my daddy, don't bash him. Like, because I'm pretty sure he has a story of his own of things that he experiences that made him the way that he is. So don't come from my dad if you know him. But this is just me, this is for my healing. This is me just experience, just being obedient, honestly. Because another thing that Pastor Dion preached on was she talked about how, her sharing her story and how does she say it? She said, so she talked about God's grace, and then she said, God wants us to give him our weaknesses. And she talked about how she has been vulnerable enough to share her story and the things that she went through and how it has helped her. So I'm like, I need to try that because I am so guarded and so private and just like, no, I'm not letting nobody in my business. You can't get past what you see. That's all you get is what you see. You can't get past, and I ain't showing you nothing. That's how I am. So when she talked about how she began to, even though it made her feel embarrassed, even though it made her feel too vulnerable, she still, her weakness is what made God's power. How did she say it? I can't remember how she said it, but her weakness and her just being vulnerable, she said, what did she say? She said she learned by her keeping quiet about what she was going through, she wasn't allowing God's power to something. I don't know. You go to Macedonia, Church of Pittsburgh's YouTube page if you're interested in exactly what she said, but it was something along the lines of by her keeping quiet and holding what she was going through in, she was preventing God's power to basically for God to show his power through her. So what I got from that is like you need to stop holding things in and you just need to be open and honest and vulnerable about what you're going through. And she talked about how when she began to speak on it, she felt so much better. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to try that because I don't feel better. Like, I don't feel better, but I want to feel better. I'm like, we could try to act like we're healed because we're dealing with stuff and we could put a smile on our face and go from day to day as if nothing is happening or as you don't feel anything. But that stuff creeps in. And the more you hold things in, the more you are likely to explode. And I'm about this close. When I tell you I'm about this close from exploding, when I like, and I'm probably not the only person. So that's why I just got in the house from work, AKA from church, because I work at a church. I just got in the house, and after I went to the bathroom, took off my uniform, and I opened my laptop because I'm like, I have to get this off of my chest today. I might not post it today, but I'm getting it off my chest while it is right there at the like it's at the tip of my chest. I need to get it off. I need to get it out. So when I tell y'all that just blessed me so much, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I am experiencing as private as I am. Listen, I'm not that social. I don't have that many friends, and the friends that I do have, I'm not telling them what's going on with me day to day. I'm not telling them deep things about myself because I don't trust people. Because some people just ain't trustworthy. But I can't allow myself to be closed off and have a wall up against my heart or between my heart because something else that she said, um, because not only is nothing able to come in, but nothing is going out. And I'm like, yup, that's why I am so numb. Like when I tell you I'm realizing how numb I am to just anything. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Okay, sure. But when I got to a point where I just began to be annoyed, I'm like, okay, I'm going to end up cussing somebody out. And I'm going to lose some people in my life. Well, the only friend that I do have, I would rather not lose this person because they are good to me. And I'm just like, I'm going to cuss somebody out, or, it could be a family member. I'm going to cut, or it could just be a stranger and then somebody kill me or something. I'm like, I'm going to end up cussing somebody out and it's going to get bad. I'm like, I need to heal and get through this. So this is my attempt to seek the healing that I so desperately need because if not, somebody's going to get cussed out and I'm just going to explode on the wrong person or the wrong people. So this is what this post is about. This video is about. It's just really about me sharing the things that I'm going through for my own healing and also if anybody else is going through the same thing and you can relate, you are not alone. Okay? You're not. And to the men out there who are fathers, you have no idea what it means for you to be absent from your child's life. You're effing your child up. The more you become absent in their life, you're effing them up. And the more effed up people, because luckily I have enough self-control to not do crazy things. But everybody don't have that type of self-control. There are people a little more effed up. And hence, a lot of crazy people out here. A lot of that people that are crazy, they're hurt. People, guys that are shooting and killing each other, they're hurt. And you're dealing with a bunch of hurt people in this world, and hurt people hurt people. So, fathers, whether you have a daughter, whether you have a son, your presence is needed. It's very much needed. Not just your money, because yeah, y'all men are providers, right? So that helps. Yeah, that helps because that's men are providers. I don't care. That's what I believe. Men are providers, but your presence is needed to actual your heart is needed. Your guidance is needed. Your leadership is needed. Stop leaving your kids out here to figure. I was about to cuss. Stop leaving your kids out here to figure out SHIT on their own. That's not for us to do. We ain't asked to be here. Stop doing that to kids. And if you a parent, if you a mother and you on the other side keeping your child from their father, you're an idiot. Because your child needs their father, especially if that father wants to be in their life. You know how many men don't want to be in their kid's life? You know how many men want to do bare minimum? There are fathers out here who actually want to be a father. So if you are intentionally keeping your child away from their father, my flesh says you're an idiot. My spirit says you need to be healed. Because you're only hurting your child. Kids need their fathers. I needed my father. I'm just now realizing that I needed my father a long time ago. And do I think it's too late to... It's not too late to heal and to repair the relationship that we never had. But I am 30 something years old. Nigga, I will be 40 before you know it. So those years and me trying to figure out life, me trying to figure out men, me trying to figure out relationship, you as my father, you were supposed to teach me that. Y'all are supposed to teach y'all kids that. Y'all not supposed to just send them out there to go fend for themselves. Y'all are not. So let me bring myself back down because I'm getting angry. That's how I know what my issue is, because I'm getting angry. Hold on. I'm back. But as I was trying to say, and when I tell y'all, let me just say this: God is so real, and I thank God for His grace over me, over my life, because I feel His grace over my life. Okay? Like, I just feel it. And even just by me doing these Bible studies, I didn't really know, like, what God's plan was me doing this. I just know that He spoke to me in a way where He told me that's what I was supposed to be doing. So I did it. I didn't know why. I didn't know how. I'm like, God, I don't even really read the Bible. Like, how I'm going to be doing Bible studies. But I think there's something that He is just doing through me, and I feel it all in my spirit. So, God is real, and He's the only one who can heal. His grace that is sufficient is the only thing that can heal our brokenness, that can heal our hearts, that can heal our pain, past pain, present pain, future pain. He is the only one that can fill that void that parents leave in their children. If I could just be completely honest. And it's not just fathers. I'm sure there's some people who can relate, but it wasn't their father, it was their mother. And me being somebody who desires to have kids, who desires to be someone's mom one day, having a child is so much more than it's so much more than laying down with, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, somebody you just met yesterday. I don't know. I mean, it happens. That's why I say that as a scenario. But once you actually become a parent, moms and dads, I don't think people grasp the fact that it is your responsibility to guide this individual through life. And that does not stop at 18. It doesn't. When I was 18, 19, 20, probably 21, 22, I was still a kid. So at 18, I for sure was not an adult. For sure was not an adult. I might have just became an adult a couple years ago. So I'm saying that to say it, like as a parent, it is, I know somebody right now that sacrifices their everything for their child because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. It's your responsibility to make sure that this person is healthy and whole mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Y'all responsibility as parents. So for somebody who aspires to be a mom, some of the stuff that I see, I get irritated and I get agitated and I get angry because I'm like, dang God, I'm not, you don't know what kind of parent you're going to be until you're actually a parent. Because people will say this all the time. You don't know because you don't got no kids. I agree with that. You don't know until you're actually in the experience. But I'd be like, now God, I've been praying to be somebody's mama. Now I want a family. I don't want to just have a kid with somebody, but I've been praying to have a child, to have a family. And some of the things that this is probably where I become judgmental. Some of the things I see, I be like, God, I don't get it. Because if you could allow them to be a parent, well, what's wrong with me? Like, I can't get a kid. I mean, I think I can't say that because I don't know. I don't know what it's like. So anyway, for somebody who aspires to be a parent, to have children, it makes me angry sometimes to see some of the parenting that I see. Not to try to even be judgmental, but I'm just like, you don't understand your responsibility. Do you know that it is up to you whether this person fails or succeeds in life? In life, not in school, not not getting no, in life. What you instill in your children when they are babies, toddlers, kids, teenagers, young adults, that is your responsibility. Nobody else's. So I always say to myself, if I ever have a daughter, I promise you I'm going to teach her some of the things that I did not know until my 30s. Why the heck am I learning things that parents are supposed to teach you in my 30s? Why am I learning this either on my own or from somebody else? That's your parents' responsibility. It's your parents' responsibility to teach you everything. how to deal with life, how to cope, how to have self-control, to learn about God, to understand their feelings, to know how to handle their feeling. That is your parents' responsibility to help you teach you that. So you wonder why we got this world is so messed up with so many messed up people because they don't have the right guidance teaching them how to get through these feelings that they don't even know what they're feeling. They don't know how to manage what they're feeling, and they're just lost. And some parents think because you provide a roof over your child's head and you put food in their belly that you're doing a good job, baby. You don't get no kudos for you don't get fathers, you don't get no kudos for just paying your child support. That's what you're supposed to do. Mothers, you don't get a kudos just for feeding your kids and making sure you put a roof over. That's what you're supposed to do. But it's so much deeper than that. You got kids who are really effed up emotionally. How? Now I get parents be having kids at a young age, so it's like the blind leading the blind. I get it. Which is why God probably tells us to get married before we have kids. But that's a whole nother story. We don't. And then next thing you know, we have a child when we're not ready, and we have a broken person raising another broken person. And then if they don't get the healing that they need before they have kids, then they're raising a broken person. And the cycle continues. So let me just say to the young girls out there, teenagers, young adults, 20, if don't nobody else teach you or tell you that women, your bodies are holy temples. This is something that I wish that somebody would have told me before I lost my virginity and opened my legs because I'm trying to fill a void that my daddy was supposed to not leave open. Your body is a holy temple. And God tells us to not fornicate. He tells us to be married before you decide to lay down with someone, before you decide to open yourself up to someone in that way. It's not worth it. It's really not. If a man or a boy, because we're talking to young adults, first of all, at a young age, love is not what you think love is today. You're not going to think that's love 10 years from now and 20 years from now. So focus on you, focus on getting to know yourself, focus on what you like to do, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to be, what you aspire to be. Like if you have talents, focus on that. But one of the things in our culture is having kids at a young age. I mean, babies having babies. I was pregnant one time in my entire life. I was 17 years old. And I was very angry when God took my baby. I did not have a miscarriage. I had a pregnancy where my baby just like not baby, but the fetus just stopped growing. So I went to the doctors and um I asked the doctor if I could hear the baby's heartbeat. And the doctor, he got the little machine and he's like, he's looking for the heartbeat. And I heard a heartbeat, but it was my heartbeat. But when I heard the heartbeat, I was like ecstatic, like, oh my gosh, that baby's in there and it's still alive. I was excited. So the doctor, he shook his head no, and he's like, no, that's your heartbeat. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, okay, it might be too early, so we'll just do an ultrasound. Just because I've been telling him like, I don't know if something's wrong because I don't feel pregnant anymore, and I feel off. I just felt off. So that's what prompted me to ask him if I could hear the baby's heartbeat. Um, so yeah, after he couldn't find the baby's heartbeat on the little machine, he's like, I'll schedule you for an ultrasound. So immediately, we went over to the other building. This was like on Federal Street where you had to walk across the street. We went over to to the other building for me to get an ultrasound. And man, and this is probably something that I didn't heal from either, because I never seek counseling about it or anything. Um, he's doing the ultrasound, and I'm just looking at his face, waiting for him to say something. And he's like, he just took the machine, he just took it off my stomach, and he put the little, um, y'all know what it's called. He put the little thingy on the machine or whatever. And I'm looking at him like, nigga, say something. So he's just like, I'm sorry, but the the fetus stopped growing a couple weeks ago. Cause I think I might have been like 12 weeks, and the fetus was the size of an 8 week, like as if I was 8 weeks pregnant. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4. Was I 10 weeks? I was either 10 weeks or 12. I can't remember. I was either 10 weeks or 12, but he's like, the baby stopped growing. And he's like telling me like, oh, this happens, all the time. There's one out of every 4 pregnancies fail, all that stuff that they gotta tell you. And my feelings was just so hurt. So I'm in 12th grade, and um I'm in 12th grade, and that entire year, my entire senior year, I think I was depressed because I had just lost my baby. So they had to do a DNC. That's where they schedule you for an appointment. I don't know if it's the same thing when you get an abortion, but they basically have to like suck everything that's in there out. I would think it is, but they call it a DNC. So I had to get a DNC. That's the only time that I was pregnant. But when I tell you, looking back at my 17-year-old self, I thank God that I did not have to bring a messed up individual into this world, because I was messed up. I was messed up, but I didn't know I was messed up. I'm just not realizing I was messed up. But yeah, I thank God that I did not bring that life into this world, and I was left to raise this baby, because I didn't know anything. I was a baby. I was lost. I was still trying to figure out life. And that's what happens a lot. That's what happens in our culture a lot. You have people who get pregnant at a young age, they're still babies. It's usually a toxic situation. The father don't want them to do. It's just that's just the cycle that it seems to happen, because there are too many single mothers. There's too many single African American mothers out there, so it's just an ongoing cycle. But anyway, that's what happens though. And that's what happened with my mom. My mom and my dad, they were young when they had me, and it's just like the blind leading the blind. So that's why I say, like, if you know my dad, like, don't talk bad about my dad, because I don't know his story. But all I know is y'all people, y'all having kids, y'all need to realize what y'all are doing before you say, I used to want a kid like all my life. I still want. I've always wanted to be a mom. Always wanted to have a baby because that's all I've seen. But I've always wanted that. So, but that's what happens. You think, having a baby is fun, it's cute. You get the pregnant belly, and you know what I'm saying. You're somebody's mom. You get that love, that unconditional love that you don't get from people. Um, so yeah, you want a baby, but it's like having a child is so much responsibility. It is more responsibility than we think. And it has so much more to do with just taking care of that child financially, and making sure that they have clothes and, shoes, and making sure they always look nice, their appearance always look nice. You got to start dealing with their like their psyche. You got to start understanding and finding out what is going on in their head. What do you feel? Like, how are you feeling? Like, and just like paying attention to how they handle with certain situations. Like, are they emotional? Do they not do anything? Do they appear numb? It's your responsibility to pay attention to these things and get your child the proper care that they need, whether it's going to the church and getting prayed over, whether it's seeing a professional counselor. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I probably needed counseling after I lost my baby because now that I think about it, I think I was going through depression my entire senior year because after I lost my baby, everybody was pregnant. When I tell you everybody was pregnant, I mean, I felt like God was playing some type of trick on me. I'm like, God, all these females is pregnant or pregnant and I lost my baby and I just see them just like that could mess a person up. I just see them just so happy, rubbing their big old bellies. And I'm just like, God, why couldn't I have had my baby? Like, I don't understand. Like, ain't nobody else just out here like they baby stop growing. Like they having beautiful, healthy babies. I'm like, well, why did you take my baby? I mean, now I understand because I don't want to raise a broken person. I don't want my child to grow up effed up just because that might be the only benefit to having a child later in life is that you're a little more whole, you're healed, you don't have to pass down those generational curses slash brokenness. Your child can be raised by two whole individuals who understand a little bit more about life than what they did 10, 20 years ago. That's probably the only benefit of having kids later on in life. So to all my women out there who might be struggling like me, because I still struggle to this day to desire to have kids, and the older you get in your 30s, the more you begin to wonder if it's ever going to happen. If I could just be real, it's almost like a fear. Like, time's running out. Like, what's going to happen? What? In a minute, my uterus ain't going to be working. You know what I'm saying? I want to say to you, to us, that there is a grace that God gave us to have children later on in life because we have the chance and the opportunity to raise whole human beings, not broken human beings because we're still broken and dealing with our brokenness, but we can deal with our brokenness before we bring a child into this world. So, what I've been doing is trying to focus on myself and learn more about myself and heal from the things that are still causing me to be broken so that when I am somebody's mother, I can pour into my child mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally from a very whole and healthy place. So, I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Um, this was not a Bible study, so I don't really have a scripture to leave off with. This was just more of like a transparency video. And what I hope is a part of my healing journey because I don't share. There's probably so many things that I said that nobody ever knew about me. And it did feel good. It really felt good. It did. So, anybody on this healing journey, you're not alone. Let's go through it together because especially my peers, my 30-year-old women who don't have no kids and you still ain't married, like nobody knows. I listen, that's a whole nother post dealing with that. So, but yeah, let's heal together. Let's, experience God's grace together and let's give God's name the glory that it deserves together because God is so real and his grace is so sufficient. When I tell you I'm so undeserving of his grace, I am so undeserving. I know people see me and they think, "Oh, she's so nice. Oh, she's just like, oh, she's so sweet." Like, no, I can be a bitch. I can be. So we going through this together. That's another transparency moment. I am a bitch sometimes. I can smile it off and hi, but I'm a human being. We all human beings, and we all need God. We all need His grace and His mercy. All of us. Whether you sinning on a level 1 or a level 10, we all need God's grace and mercy. So let's heal together and let's seek God together. I am going to post my Bible study. I'm gonna just um warn y'all though, it's hard to hear me. And I was trying to use my AirPods while doing this video, but I think I was pretty loud. Because I was very passionate about what I was saying. Whereas my last Bible study, I was like, I'm in bed and, you know, I'm not saying I wasn't passionate about it, but yeah, I already have like a little small voice. So, but yeah, I'm gonna still post it though because maybe it can help someone. Maybe it's for someone. So I'm still going to post it. But again, this was another Bible study that connected to the same word that I was hearing that following Sunday. It's like God is really doing something through me. And I need to be healed. But I know he's still going to do it cuz that's who he is. Like he's like that. And I be saying that too, even when I'm going through stuff, I could have tears in my eyes. I'm like, God, but you're still so good. I'm so angry. I don't understand you sometimes, but you're still just so good. You're still amazing and you're still powerful. You're still wonderful. Like, I don't play. Like, yeah, I'm going to still give you your props. I'm effed up, but I'm going to give you your props, God. So let's seek Him together and let's heal together. And let's just be honest and open and transparent together because I know for me, all the things that I'm holding in and not sharing is only, it's first of all, it's hindering my own healing, clearly. But also, I could be um, preventing someone else from just knowing that you're not alone, you know? Like, somebody else out there is going through the same thing you're going through. So, and it feels good sometimes to just know that you have somebody that it feels good to know that you're not alone sometimes. Like, okay, you know, I ain't crazy. Like, this is what other human beings are experiencing too. Like, I'm not in my own little world. Okay, that was a mouthful. And I ain't even eat yet. It's what 2:30. I have not eaten anything at all today, so I'm gonna go eat. Thank you. God bless you all. And I'll see you guys on my next video. All right, bye.